I wonder if you've ever thought about what your life could be like when you learn to set limits and boundaries and have your own voice and you're no longer a people pleaser. You know, it's so important to understand that the root of codependency is trauma. So if you've been raised in a family, like most of us have been, where there's dysfunction, obviously there are a lot of different levels of dysfunction, and you didn't get what you needed as you were growing up, and you didn't have a stable family, and your caregivers were not able to give you what you need to help you to feel secure and help you to know that you're lovable and loved. It is a setup for codependency. Often what happens in those situations is that as a child, you grow up thinking that you're supposed to take care of your parent, which becomes what we know as the parentified child. So please understand, it was never your job to take care of your parent, although it makes perfect sense that you use this to survive as a survival mechanism. The rub in this is that as an adult, when you go through this kind of a trauma with the effect of codependency, is that you start believing that in each situation you're there to fix people, you're there to take care of everybody, and it feeds your shame, it feeds a lot of anger, because inside is this needy little child saying, who's going to take care of me? But inside, on a deeper level, you have all this fear of, if I really show up and I address conflict, if I let people know I'm angry, or if I have any feelings that they don't accept, that I'll be rejected and abandoned the way I felt as a child. So important to understand all of this. You know, when we're really needy, we can eat the junk food of life and think it's a meal. But the junk food of life in relationships does not satisfy. So important that you learn how to show up for yourself. The wonderful thing is that you can learn to set limits and boundaries. And one of the really healing ways in this is to learn how to reparent yourself, to become a different kind of mother, a different kind of parent than you had. And so that you can learn to self-soothe yourself, to nurture yourself, and to make choices in relationships that are not toxic, choices that are not familiar, and then you think, oh, well, that's good, it feels familiar. Well, a lot of times, good is not, when it's feeling familiar and then it's good, feels good, is not the greatest thing, because then it's a lot of times just going back into what you've known before rather than going ahead. So if what I'm saying to you makes sense, and you have lived for so long ignorando sus deseos, ignorando su voz, no está bregando con los conflictos y tiene una dificultad a soltar tu propio voz, es tiempo por ti. So it's really time now to look at yourself, not putting yourself on the back burner anymore. And if you would like to go deeper in this healing work, I would love to hear from you. My website is on the bottom there. Please feel free to contact me. Estoy esperando por su llamada. Con mucho gusto. Dios te bendiga.